What is going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to another edition of On the Road to Victory. I am your host, Jimmy Smith, and I hope you're all having yourselves a fantastic Thursday night. But we're here during the bye. I hope you're all enjoying the piece. I know I have enjoyed. I realize how much free time I destroy by doing all of these shows, but I love you all, so it's all truly worth it. Talking our birds is something I always look forward to, and been trying to keep you up. Obviously, we've talked about Goddard and Dean. Just haven't had the behind enemy lines and all those shows that I've got a great 6,000 graphics for. So I'm not complaining. I'm sure as shit enjoying this bye week. I hope you are as well. A Sunday where we can relax, spend time with the family, not have a heart attack, and the Eagles will be atop the NFL no matter what happens. So I'm truly in a place of peace. But we are here for the mid-season recap. We're going to talk about what this team has done so far, the standings, stats, and rankings. We will look at the entire roster, who's where, what, depth chart, the reserves, everything you need to know about this team so you are ready for the second half of the season. And seeing a lot of people coming on board, and that's what it's all about, baby. We've talked about this since, last year even, but this offseason, this team is going to get people on board. And it may take a little bit of time, but we're going to see some special things. And we've obviously seen the struggles that, the media and a lot of fans want to point out and whine about all the time. But, we here at On the Road to Victory, I know you sickos, we've all been enjoying this season. Being the best in the NFL is something I actually enjoy. And that's what watching my Eagles is all about, getting that win, being excited about what is to come for the second half of the season, and a perfect time to get this bye. And want to take a look at this team, but I also want to give you a look at the future as well, a little bit with the draft picks and the cap space. So you understand what's going on with this team right here, right now. And then I was actually working on something else, and I'm going to have that this weekend for you. But I've got a report card for this team. I'm going to give you an entire, I've got the front office. I've got the offense and defense, obviously, by position, special teams. We're talking about everything here. I'm going to grade it all, talk about every single thing at each position. And, it's already, oh, my God. I wanted to actually kind of do it today, and then I was like, you know what? I'm going to do this that I told you I would. We'll do this weekend. But I want to show you, I am putting some real effort into this one, and I hope you tune into this show because it's got everything you would want to know. And it's got, here it is. So the snap count, we're talking the percentage that they played at each position, man. I'm talking sicko stuff where you've got all their stats from the year. You've got, if I can find it, I will show you here. Look. So I haven't got it all figured out yet. Why does it do that all the time? But you can see, so the stats are right. And you can see the snaps and the percentage of the players. And, I'm going to get it all worked out, and the color's all jacked there. But it's going to be a damn good one. And I'm looking forward to talking about that. But right here, right now, we're doing this bad boy live. I want to hear your thoughts on this. I'm going to try to blow through this as fast as I can. Have to be with under a half hour. It has to be. So I'm going to get it all in there. But I'd love to hear your thoughts as I go through this. Appreciate each and every one of you taking the time, hitting the like button, subscribing, all those things you're doing to support the channel. Cannot thank you enough. My man Samuel in here. Let's effing go. We've got Liz. We got Marlo. Let's go, baby. Hope you're all having a great week. And look, man, my heart needs the week off. I'll be real. I'm, of course, going to miss my Eagles. Going to be pissed on Sunday when they're not playing. But, hey, I'm going to take this break, and I'm going to try to enjoy every second of it. And look, man, you know how I feel. Nobody can beat us. I think we're the best team in the NFL. The only team that beats us is when we shoot ourselves in the foot. We did that against the Jets. We lost the game, but we talk about beating teams like the Dolphins, the Cowboys. And even when you're making mistakes in those games, you find ways to win. So, and I know you're working, Liz, right? So that's what it's all about. You guys tuning in whenever you can. I cannot thank you enough. But sharing this brotherly love, getting excited for this second half of the season. You guys know I still think this team is winning the Super Bowl. I have not faltered. I have not fallen victim like most fans and media have. But look, and I don't mean you fans, but the ones that make their own shows and things you see each week. It's reactionary. We have to cut everyone, trade everyone each week. It's hilarious. But I want to show you why I'm so confident in this team, why I still think they're winning the Super Bowl and building a dynasty here. So let's take a look at the first half of this season of the dynasty, right? So let's take a look. We're obviously On top of the NFC East, you see those guys all battling for the bottom there. So Cowboys, Commanders, Giants, they'll be battling all season to see who is the worst. We'll obviously be atop that, and we're not going anywhere. Now, in the NFC, also atop that because, oh, yeah, that's right. We're the best in the NFL. But you can see here, man, there's no race to be had. We just keep winning our games, and we get that bye. We control our destiny, and the rest will go down in history. I can assure you of that. So, look, I obviously, you got to stay healthy, but if this team stays healthy, if these things all go exactly as I talked about this offseason, and they have been. Now, there have been issues. We've talked about all the things that need to be worked on, but that's literally what football is about. Each week, you're going to have these things. And, NFL teams are actually good, not just the Eagles. So you're going to have matchups that exploit others, and we talk about that each week. That's why I try to do the top matchups behind enemy lines, all those things so you can get to know the opponent as well and not have this chaos that we do with the media out there. It's just, I don't understand why people love the negativity, but is what it is. But here's my excitement. Why this team, and look, I understand a lot of people hated the last couple of years having the best defense, but, now we're bottom tier kind of in stats, and, people are furious, but I don't know what they want because they were pissed when we were good. So, but there's so many injuries, on that defense that I think those things, you take it with a grain of salt. Now on offense, second in points, third in total yardage, you're seventh in rushing and passing. That's a balanced attack. And we talked about laughing at all the media throughout the year. Oh, they're not running the ball. Well, they're not passing enough. And each week, you have a game plan for each team. You face teams differently, but certain things happen in the game that, well, you kind of have to change your game plan. And we have been able to adjust and do things where sometimes you got to run. Sometimes, you're winning so much, you don't have to pass, so you run. I just think it's so funny to see, and people hold on to stats too much. I show you these guys, these stats, because I want you to just get a feel for things, and, you take it with a grain of salt, but some people live by stats and don't actually watch the game, and that really does not help them. So you can see, still don't like that we're giving up 2.4 sacks per game, middle of the pack there. You can see with interceptions, 0.9. Also don't like that. So the turnovers tied for 18th. That's something we talk about, have to clean up. And so many weird, stupid mistakes, fumbles and interceptions that are so wild that it doesn't concern me. I'm not like, oh my God, this is Dak Prescott out here. He's out here leading the league in interceptions because he's not. No, that's not what it is. You see Goddard kicking the ball in the player's hands. You see all these weird things. I'm not stressing about it. They'll get things cleaned up, especially during this bye. Hopefully, Juergens comes back and he and Steen can battle it out at right guard. They decide where they go there. And you guys know I love Steen, bright future, but Juergens was doing well. So if they feel Steen, obviously in that game, he showed he still has some things to work on. So I'm not against Juergens coming back, but I think this offense will be all right. Now on the defense, we talk about getting back Bradley Roby, this nickel position. Man, we have just been, we have been moving pieces, and we've had to, injuries and so many things happening where, 20th in points given up, 13th in yardage, 29th against the pass. And, we were the best against the pass last year, and, people were furious. You got to blitz every play. We don't want to be best against the pass. And now we're blitzing a lot more, and 29th, and people are furious. So, again, I don't understand what they want. I thought holding them to less yards was good. In my opinion, I want to hold them to less yardage. I want to get closer to number one, right? I want to be like we were last year. Then you see against the run, that's the one thing we talk about, where those numbers get skewed. I don't think we're like the 29th worst secondary. I just think you take these with a grain of salt because a lot of teams have to pass against us when you're winning, or you just can't run because we're the number one run defense. You're going to have to pass. So take that with a grain of salt. Yeah, I think things could be worked on, and you'll hear all about it during the report card. I've got grades on everybody, and, Slay and Bradbury have had their issues, but having different pieces in the nickel and having, 8 different starting secondaries, it's been wild. So we'll get things figured out. And you see, we're getting sacks, 3.3 per game. You're getting, very little turnovers, though. So I would love to see this team going back to last year, we're getting sacks, but I want to see the sacks, and I want the turnovers to be there as well. I want to see those yards down lower. This team, they're very good, and they've got the talent. They just got to figure some things out. New, a lot of the same stuff from last year, but new ideas, new things, and new ways of just playing. So I think we're going to get things on track here, and we'll be all right on that defense. But let's take a look now at this team. You can see how the team has been doing so far this year, but let's take a look at who this team is. I got people all the time. Who's this guy? Who's that? So we're going to look real quick at every position. They say, but the Kobe Dean and Bled. No, not at all. Never want to see anybody hurt, and he is good. Also enjoy the bye week number 1 for another 2 weeks. Yeah, exactly what I was saying there earlier, Teresa. We get to sit on top of the throne, and no matter what happens, we are number 1. I love it, love it, love it. Nick Morrow, no doubt. Need the number. No, I actually liked having multiple linebackers. It's crazy. This is one of those things where, like, everyone gets twisted by the media. It's, we're not running this week. Oh, we're not passing. You heard people crying. We got to get linebackers. Now they're all cheering that we lost a linebacker when we're very thin at linebacker. It just goes to show not much thinking going on out there. So you won't hear me ever rooting for injury against anyone, especially an Eagle. But let's take a look now at this injured reserve. And it looks that Nakobe Dean and Dallas Goedert will go on here, but that probably won't happen until Monday. We've got the bye week. You don't have to make any moves. But after the bye, Justin Evans, eligible to come back. We'll see if we want Watkins to come back. But Juergens, he can come back. So maybe with Dean and Goddard going on IR, you bring back Evans and Juergens, and, well, then you just kind of let Quiz sit there. But those are the players that you will not see on the active roster. You will not see them on the depth chart. So there they are right here. These are the guys that are just not part of the team if you were to look up the roster, but here is where they are. And just wanted to keep you aware of that. And we're talking about injury, so just want you to be aware. Now, here is the coaching staff: Brian Johnson, Sean Desai. Look, both new coordinators that have obviously had their issues, but I think are doing well and are only going to continue to get better. Michael Clay has seen this special teams unit vastly improved. And Sirianni, still my guy, loving it. 8-1 got his team. And I just love how he is with the players, just everything about him. He's a guy I definitely was behind from day one, and just he makes it more so every time I hear from him. Love the guy, love this coaching staff. Now let's take a gander at this here roster. So 3 quarterbacks, we've been rolling with this. You've got Jalen Hurts, who obviously QB1. Don't want to have to see any of these other guys unless we're blowing teams out. And that hasn't happened yet this season where anyone's had to come in, but I think we'll get there, and got a tough schedule ahead. And, I keep laughing. People say, we got the gauntlet. Well, the gauntlet has us. Okay. When they look at their schedule, they're saying, oh, shit. So just keep that in mind. So those were the quarterbacks. Here are your running backs, and Gainwell and Swift. Look, I think that Swift clearly is somebody that, for me, I think is very talented. Hold on. Then you've got, Penny, who is not being used. My apologies. And then you've got Boston Scott here. You've got, a running back room that I really like. We talked about this. You heard this off season and throughout the season how this room needed Derrick Henry. I don't think so, man. And, you hear people, Penny, this, that. Look, Penny is just not good enough to be in this offense over the top 3. So that's just the way it is. And I like these running backs, and we'll talk about that during the grades, but I like this room a lot. And look, just keep feeding Swift. Run the damn ball is the motto in these parts. Now, wide receivers, AJ and Devontae, the best duo in the game. But then you've got Julio, Olamide, and Covey here. So a lot of talent in this room. And obviously Covey not really a receiver, but a receiver that we use in this offense is what I mean. But I think that, Julio, the more he gets adjusted, he'll see more reps. You got Olamide here. So I like the 4 that we have here. And I think that is good enough for me, man. I've seen a lot of things. You need this, that, the other thing. Olamide does a lot of things. And Julio coming in as that big veteran piece helps us in the red zone, a lot of things. Look, I'm all about, I know he only has like 2 catches, one of them for a touchdown, but I'm all about him being here, continuing to learn this offense and becoming more of a part of this offense. Now, tight end, unfortunately, we know Dallas Goedert is banged up. So, going to be placed on IR, most likely. And that, it sucks, but next man up, baby. And this is the one where it's like, son of a bitch, because you don't really have someone where it's like, oh, they've been playing a lot. Like, there's just nobody. Goddard is that tight end. And we use some 12 and 13 personnel, but man, Stoll, Calcaterra, Aquinebigum, Blabajam. Yeah, dude, I really think that for me, we talked about this. It's not really necessarily about, now Stoll and Calcaterra have to do this, that. The other thing that, yeah, they do have to try to fill that void. And we'll look at the practice squad here in a second. But I think that for me, you just run less, having the tight end, 12 or 13 personnel, but even 11, So when you're going with those, quad sets, when you've got 4 receivers out there, doing different things, ponies, you got the dual tailbacks. I think there's a lot of things you could do where you're just not using your tight end as much. And Stoll can block, Calcaterra can catch. Calcaterra's still dealing with that concussion, and he's had an issue with that. So going to be intriguing to see what happens there. Now, at the offensive line, we talked about Juergens coming back. That will be fantastic. And we'll go through during this grade this weekend, and we'll talk about how these guys have done. But love the depth here. Love this O-line. They've had their issues, but I think that, they're still one of the best in the league. Now, let's take a gander at this defense here. And, the deepest in all the land. And we traded Kentavious Street because, you guys remember I talked about trade candidates, and I picked out a few of them. And one of them was Kentavious Street. We talked about how deep this room is. And, the top 4, they're beasts. And, 5 and 6 get a little bit, but man, we are deep as hell. And this past week, we only used 5, and I'm perfectly fine with that. We are very deep there. Love these young men we have. Very bright future. Part of why I feel we are building a dynasty here. Now, the edge rushers, same thing, man. Look how deep this is. Reddick, Sweat, Nolan Smith, Brandon Graham, Derek Barnett, Patrick Johnson. Love it. Now, a lot of people losing their mind over Nolan Smith. Look, he will get his. I promise you that. Give it some time. He just needs a little bit of time to develop like we talked about this offseason, but a very bright future for the young man. Now, the off-ball linebackers here. Obviously, we just talked about the Kobe Dean going on to IR. Very unfortunate, but Cunningham and Morrow will step up to be the starters again, just like before. And I like that we were using a 3-man rotation with Cunningham, Dean, and Morrow. But unfortunately, with somebody banged up, now we've only got 3 here. But we've got some guys on the practice squad we will look at in a second here. But, man, it's unfortunate. You never want to lose people, but it's next man up. That's just the way it goes, and that's what I'm all about. Now into the secondary. We've got some corners here, and we're hopeful to get Roby back after the bye. Please, Lord, thank you. But Ricks, Job, Scott, all been trying to get it done. Sidney Brown, a little sprinkle in there, nickel corner. Ringo, mostly just special teams, but they drafted him for the future. We all knew he is going to take a little bit of time and development there, so no surprise there. But a lot of corners here, hoping we get this thing figured out. Roby stays healthy. That would be great. Now at safety, we talked about hopeful that Justin Evans comes back here, but only time can tell. He is eligible after this bye here, so I'm hopeful we do, because that really, I like the depth there. Having Byard and Blankenship as the starters with Brown and Evans as the depth, and we talk about guys like Brown. We talked about Evans in the offseason that can play those roles where sometimes they're in what looks to be the nickel, or whether you want to call it big nickel or the dime backer, doing certain things where I really love their skill sets. And I think, only having more depth and health here is obviously a plus. So we only got 3 right now, but hopeful to get Evans back. Now, the specialists, we all know you've got Elliott, Lovato, and Mann here. We did have a punter in for a tryout, and we talked about that when it happened. Hey, maybe they're, trying to light a fire under his ass. Like, look, buddy, there is no guarantee for you. So step your game up, doing well holding. But we'll talk about that during the grades with his punting. But I think that overall, the special teams unit doing well. And that's nice to see. You want to see all 3 phases of the game going full cylinder. Now, let's take a gander at this practice squad. So we've only got 6 guys on offense here. And you've got 1 lineman now that Good Jones just got signed by the Commanders, but you've got Lou Nichols here, the running back, and tight end E.J. Jenkins. So maybe you see if this kid can learn the offense, maybe you elevate him. If you feel you need someone like him that's better at blocking than Calcaterra or Alberto, then you've got 3 receivers in Nada, Allen, and Ward. Now, on the defensive side of the ball, we've got 9 on practice squad. So you've got a couple D tackles there, interior D linemen in Booker and Ellis. You've got an edge rusher in Teron Jackson, a couple linebackers. So maybe you want to elevate Van Sumeren again. You've got Brandon Smith there, but we talked about that as special teams help. So I think, it's just Morrow and Cunningham. Don't think you see too much of Ellis, but it's just less 3-man rotation and more the 2 guys we used before. That's my opinion. But you see we've got a few corners here in Garner, Goodrich, Vildor. All those injuries allowed us to be moving those things around. And then McCollum there at safety. So that's all that list there. But let me remind you one last time. Here are the reserves. Here are the players that you're not going to see. But I'm going to show you all that information that you just got in a depth chart and then the full list of the practice squad so you can see what everything looks like. You want to save these pictures, whatever you want to do with them, just so you have all of this information. But those are the IR guys, Evans and Watkins and Juergens, probably coming back here soon. But you see the depth chart. Now, look, I've got Steen still in there. We'll see when Juergens comes back, what happens. But Goddard, I'm making him red because he's clearly not going to be there. Once he gets placed on IR, I'll fix this up for you, take him out. But I don't ever change it until it actually happens. But as you can see, he won't be there. So Stoll, Calcaterra, Alberto, step it up. Let's go. Now, anyone in green, in case you've never seen this, they are new to the team this season, or, whether that be the off season or throughout this season. But just so you know, that is what the green players are there. Now, you see on defense, I've got 5-man fronts, so you can see the 5. Obviously, if you're looking for 4, you just take out one of those guys like Carter or whatever. So that's to show you also with the nickel in there, Bradley Roby. But anybody in green, new to the team, Nakobe Dean, going to be banged up on IR for a few weeks. So, look, again, Morrow, Cunningham stepping it up. Next man up, baby. That's always been the motto in these parts, and that's how it's going to stay. You see the special teams unit. Everything's still okay there. Boston Scott, serviceable. I still would be using Penny back there, but hey, that's just me. Now, here's the full list of practice squad. As you saw, 6 on offense, 9 on defense. So there is an open spot. So once they get back to practice and doing all that stuff, I do imagine they will bring somebody on. So just stay tuned for that. I will keep you up to date with everything there. But that was your roster. Everything going on with all that, the whole team now. So, everybody on the practice squad, everybody at each position. You saw the depth chart. You know everything that is going on, where our standings are, what we look like with the stats. And don't worry, you'll get individual stats during that report card. You're going to get everything that your heart desires when it comes to snap count, percentage. If you're a true sicko, you're going to love that one. But let's take a gander now. Final little piece of information. I want you to see why I'm so excited about it, because this team not only has been able to be the best in the NFL with all these injuries and things going on, but let's look at what's going on behind the scenes. So Howie Roseman, $2,720,021. Let's go, baby. Howie Roseman, you son of a bitch. So built a Super Bowl contender here, still has money to dabble with, and God forbid anything else were to happen, you need to sign anybody, you need that money. So Howie is the man. And now people talked about, through this offseason, all these things, the dead money, things they don't understand. But I always try to keep you up to date with all of the liabilities, so that's what we're paying in dead money, the IR, the practice squad. So you're not just paying the 53 players cap, you also have these things that affect the cap. So that's why you only have 2.7 mil there. And don't fear, though. It's not like we're, in a bad place. You want to stack your team for the year and then be ready for the future. And we have 45, 63, 92 the next few years. I'm perfectly fine. The cap space will go up too. So don't worry, man. All of those things will be fine in the Eagles. They've been moving things around. So just in case you wanted to know their draft picks of the future, we've got 9 next year, 6 in the future. And how we'll be wheeling, dealing, moving things all around. So I'm sure this will all change, but we've got plenty of ammo. This is why I think the Eagles are building a dynasty here. And we're going to find out. I've actually got the schedule. Let me show you this. This is the remaining schedule. Obviously Chiefs, Bills, Niners, Cowboys, and then Seahawks. That, is what everyone's calling the gauntlet. I don't care, man. Those teams have to look at their schedule and see us. They're the ones fearing us. And we're going to go to Kansas City, whoop their ass. Then the Bills and the Niners got to come to our house. Come get it. We'll travel, beat the hell out of the Cowboys, Seahawks. Then we'll go home for Christmas, beat the shit out of the Giants. And old Gannon will come back to Philly, get his ass whooped. And then we'll head on up the pike there, punch the New Jersey Giants right in the face to finish off the season with our backups. Let's effing go Birds. So that's how I feel about it. But I'd love to hear how you feel about it down below. Looks like I'm just making it that half-hour mark, but I am going to love to continue this conversation. If you guys, comment down below after the video, whatever you want to talk about, whatever's on your mind, a certain position, this, that, the other thing. Love to hear it. Your team go Eagles, go Birds! Appreciate you tuning in there. You signed? No, I would not. We are deep as hell at edge rusher. Hope N'Kobe Dean and Dallas Goedert. Yeah, me too. Dirty play. Yeah, that was an unfortunate play for sure. Go Birds. Greetings, my man, all the way from Phoenix, you sick son of a bitch. I appreciate you taking the time. Big Jim, my man. Happy to see you right before I'm heading out here. But if you rewatch this bad boy, it's just giving you a recap of what this team is mid-season. I have something for you guys on Saturday. I will be putting out the report card. I'm going to do that bad boy live too. So you're going to have each position, and you can tell me how you feel about each position. You give them an A, a D, an E, whatever it may be. I want to hear it. Don't you see? Now, I will be back tomorrow for Fan Friday, but a little special something for the bye week. I actually opened it up for you. The mailbag is ready. So you do not have to be a channel member this week. There is a post. You can go right to the community tab on YouTube, and you will see the post about any questions, topics you have for Fan Friday. I'll make a graphic. We'll all break it down throughout the show. So it's going to be a barn burner tomorrow. Hope to see all those questions and topics once I get off here. But if you guys want to talk about this stuff, talk about this roster, whatever's on your mind, let me know. If you're cheering for Eagles players getting hurt, you probably just take that to some other content creators. Yeah, you're in the wrong place. This is a place for diehard Eagles fans. But I love you all, and I hope you're having yourselves a great week. Looking forward to that Fan Friday tomorrow. But let me know how you're feeling about this second half of the season. What is your record prediction for the second half? What is your final season prediction? All of those things. I still think the Eagles can go 16-1, but as I talked about, maybe they lose 2 games. Did we lose 1 more? Okay, we've got some tough ones coming, but we're the best team in the NFL. So as long as we don't shoot ourselves in the foot, let's go, baby. But I hope you're all having a good one. Until next time, I'm Jimmy Smith, and this is On the Road to Victory. You all have yourselves a great rest of your night. Stay safe out there. And as always, I'm going to need you to say it with me now. Go Birds!